I'm back. Hey guys, we talked about pipes the other day. And I just kind of want to do a little follow up, a little brush up on them. I never did mention anything about manifolds. I just mentioned about the pipe that the manufacturers suggest get that pipe. Well, they also suggest a manifold, obviously. And if you notice now, these higher end motors that these manufacturers are making, these engines, they're using the one piece pipes now. Everybody's going to the one piece pipes. So there's no way to change a manifold. Kind of backs up, guys, what I was saying about no need to change it. You run what the manufacturers recommend. Okay, so moving on from that, I want to show y'all a little bit. This is back in my karting days when I raced for in the Manufacturers Cup for Burrell. I want you to notice, you see the springs, obviously, behind the engine. There's little extensions in there between the pipe and the manifold. I had a whole slew of those. Every size was a 1/4 inch difference. But I didn't use them to change high end or low end, because this is what happens. Yes, you guys are reading advertised. It gives you more low end. It gives you more high end. It doesn't give you any more performance overall. It changes your power band range. And then when you really do that, guys, you're taking away from the porting and the pipe combination. Yes, does it work? And do you feel the difference on each end? Yes. But going back to what I said, run the pipe the manufacturers suggest. They're going to one piece. Buy those, guys. And so back to what I was saying. So when we went to different tracks, my motor, we had about three. I think we had three cylinders. And he dynoed them back at home, put different. Yes, the extensions were different, depending on the cylinder head porting. So I know a little bit about that stuff, guys. So what you read, you can interpret a couple different ways. But I got knowledge and I've been there. So yes, it's going to say for, top end, low end. All it's doing, guys, is it's changing where the power band is a little bit. It's not giving you any more performance overall. You're actually taking away, because that motor is ported to come in, at its proper RPMs and its power, where it starts its power curve, its torque curve, power curve. Anyway, let's move on. So you see the maroon underneath the springs, that's my sprocket, of course, y'all know that. And there's the gold chain around it, which goes to a sprocket, just like a pinion on the engine on the inside there. So let me explain a little bit about gearing. And we're going to go to our buggies and our RC cars later, but maybe you can kind of get a grasp of it and kind of understand how this works. So what we try to do, when we go to a track, you look at the straightaway, your longest straightaway. So in the bashers, they would look how far do they want to run that car and then let off of it. And you got to be realistic, guys. Be realistic about it. So we go to a track, look at the longest straightaways. We put the biggest sprocket on that we have that they pretty much offer for karting, because you see how big it is. It would rub the ground, kind of like it would rub the chassis on a RC car. Same problem. We had the same problem. It would rub. So you go to a bigger sprocket, the biggest one. The biggest one is what it's going to do. It's going to give you torque. It's going to give you low end. Your gear's there. So that motor, it's easier for it to leave because it's bigger, like on a bike. So we talked about that the other day. The bigger that is, the easier it is for that motor to leave. Okay. Then we try to run on. Then we move on to the pinion, the bell gear. We are trying to run the biggest pinion gear because that's what's going to give you the mile per hour. Okay, so you can carry the low gear on the end and then get your mile per hour out of your pinion, your bell gear. So what you do is you gear that bell to where if you were on a tack, it would be banging out on a tack. Or when your motor, when it goes kind of flat right there when you're just running it hard and it goes a little flat, even though you're tuned perfect, it gets flat. When it goes flat, that's where you want to be geared at. Right there to say 10 foot from where you, or not 10 foot, 5 foot from where you want to end, it goes flat. That's where you want that pinion gear. Okay? Then say you can't get that exactly where you want to on that straightaway. You can say, well, it's coming in 20 feet earlier, or it's coming in 20 foot later, or not in, later. It's not revving all the way up. You're not hitting maximum RPMs. You go back to the sprocket and you change it. Okay? You go down lower, and then that will give you add more mile per hour as well as the top one. But the object is to run the biggest spur gear that you can and the biggest pinion you can for the mile per hour to get down the straightaways. And what else? Man, I always go back and look. Oh, I forgot to say this. I forgot to say that. I mean, there's so much in my head, guys. I mean, it's hard to explain it all. And that also has to do with where you want that motor to come in, the pipe and the clutch. Which that clutch had, we changed the weights. We went from tungsten and brass and steel on different weights on how fast we want it to sling out on the weights or how hard we want it to grab and stay engaged. And then we had springs that pushed them out. And we went, just like RC cars. If we want to stall a little higher so it's on the pipe in the porting job, that's where we put it. So, gearing. Is there any more about gearing?